Alright, what is going on, guys? Welcome to Purgatory, and today the patch notes for Splatoon 3 have just released. This patch is coming out tomorrow at the time of recording this, July 26th, but at the time of uploading this, it'll be today. We got patch notes, and it seems like we just got some weapon balancing. That seems like all that we have here today, but we do have it pulled up. I was hoping to see some map changes, but it just seems like something that they would release with a new season whenever it came to map changes, and that's something that we can probably expect within the next season that comes out, but we'll talk about that in the future, and when in the future upcoming podcast episode. Yes, I am still recording podcast episodes, at least trying to work on getting some new podcast episodes going out, but let's get right into it. So the Aerospray MG and RG reduce the amount of ink consumed by approximately 9%. So this got a buff, reduce the amount of ink consumed. Yeah, this got buffed big time. 9%, reduce the amount of ink consumed. At least I think that's, yeah, reduced. Splatter shot, 10 detect splatter shot, and hero shot replica reduce the scatter shots while on the land by approximately 17%. Wow. This also includes mid-air shot scatter reduction from the Intensify Action Gear ability. The mid-air ink scatter will now be closer to the effect while shooting on land. Wow, okay. That is crazy, and it seems like N-Zap's getting the same thing here. If you see right here, reduce the scatter of shots while on land by approximately 7 for N-Zap 85 and 89. So these weapons were made more accurate, which means they might feel even more consistent. And that's great because I'm actually currently trying to go for 5-star N-Zap right now. Trying to figure out which one still. It might be the 85 that I try to get done first, but again, that's a live stream and a video in the future for. So Splatter Shot Pro pretty much. Increase the radius of the ink splatter at the point of impact by approximately 8%. Okay. These 8%, like these are big changes. Like 17%, that doesn't seem like much, but that's a crazy amount whenever you go. That's like noticeable change. I feel it's gonna be, and that's crazy. This one 8%. So whenever the ink hits the ground, that is increased. Increased radius of ink splatter. That splatter. The moment the very end of the shot, the last shot hits the ground. It's crazy. Okay. Luna Blaster and Luna Blaster Neo reduce the scatter of shots midair by approximately 25%. Also made midair shot scatter reduction from the Intensify Action Gear ability easier to activate even with a smaller number of gear abilities. The midair ink scatter will now be closer to the effect while shooting on land. Oh wow. The effect gained from equipping maximum number of Intensify Action Gear abilities will not change. Okay. Dynamo Roller, there's a lot of you out there I've been seeing on Twitter for Dynamo Roller here. Reduce the amount of time it takes for ink to begin recovering after a horizontal or vertical swing about 1/6 of a second. I don't know if that's enough for the Dynamo, man. Like, I know this thing is like, it's gonna be tough to balance because it does so much damage. Its ink ability has probably been some of the worst I've seen in Splatoon. And it needs more of this, I think. It needs more buffs. This is nice, but I think it needs more. Paintbrush, reduce the amount of ink consumed when swinging the brush by approximately. Reduce the amount of ink consumed. So Paintbrush is getting buffed? Reduce the amount of ink consumed when holding the ZR button to paint well by 25% on both of these. Paintbrush, I feel like I don't know if that's good or bad. Reduce the amount of ink consumed when swinging the brush. So this means it's not going to use as much ink. So this is like an overall buff to Paintbrush. GooTuber adjusted the display indicating the charge amount to make it easier to tell when it will exceed 100 damage dealt. Displaying indicator. Wow, okay. Blow Blobber, increase the radius of ink splatter at the point of impact and from ink spray by approximately 10%. Oh boy. Blow Blobber buff. That's not good for a lot of people. Increase the damage dealt to opponents by the explosions of shots lodged in the terrain from 28 to 30 on Tri-Stringer. So they increase the damage dealt to opponents. Oh, they increase so when you full charge it, or I guess it's like the first charge before you do the second, that's when the arrows become explosive. So they actually increased the damage there by 2 points. Increased movement speed while charging and while fully charged by approximately 13%. Wow, that's going to be a noticeable change. And we will be, again, looking at all of these in the future. So now that's all the main weapons, and honestly, this looks interesting. I think the highlight is the Splatter Shot and Hero Shot and N-Zap. I feel like a lot of people might not be happy about that because of the shooter privilege, I would say. That does feel like it exists, but I don't think it's like that bad. I feel like other classes can easily just outdo a shooter, like, even though there's so many of them, and in comparison to all the other things, there's just more you can do with the shooter kind of weapons than you can with something, say, as like a blaster or a paintbrush or a roller. Like, there's just more you can do with something that's just a fully automatic weapon. Like, there's already a few ideas that pop in my head that would only really work as a shooter. So, Sprinkler extended the duration of the state where the ink is strongest immediately after placement by approximately 3 seconds. Angle Shooter increased the damage dealt to opponents by direct hits, so they buffed the damage. Okay, so first they buffed the ink radius, now they buffed the damage. Okay, after placement approximately 33 seconds. This one's interesting. So now we're on to special weapons. Trizuka, the increased the damage dealt by explosions from 40 to 60. Wow. Trizuka might be making a comeback here. Ink Vac increased the radius of the ink shot explosion by approximately 50% when the amount of opponent's ink that was sucked up is at the minimum. What? Increased the radius of the ink shot explosion by approximately 25% when the amount of opponent's ink that was sucked up is at the maximum? So the radius for the minimum was increased, and so was the maximum. So by minimum, maximum, to anybody that doesn't know, when you have an ink vac, it vacuums up any ink that people throw at you, and whenever on your perspective on your HUD there's a circle, and if that circle fills up all the way, you get the max amount of explosion radius out of it. If you don't get any ink out of it, or you get some, that radius is different. Super Chump, increased the amount of damage dealt to players caught in the explosion near a decoy from 60 to 70 and increased the radius of the area by approximately 38. Oh my gosh, I might go into N-Zap. I might be trying to 5-star this N-Zap 89, man. Increase the radius of the decoy explosion area that deals 35 damage by approximately 20%. Wow, okay. They're making him much more of a threat. It seems like it's still gonna be as easy to, I guess, to take him out, to shoot them all, and that's crazy. Okay, Inkjet, decrease the radius of the explosion area that deals 50 damage by approximately 15%. No change to the radius of the area that deals 30 damage. Okay, so the slight nerf to Inkjet, which I think is fair. All right, and now, lastly, we'll be reading that stuff at the bottom as well, but lastly, we're on points required for some special weapons. We're mostly buffs or nerfs, it seems. Yeah, so Clash Blaster Neon Carbon Roller got reduced to 170. Rapid Blaster Pro Deco, Tri-Slosher Nouveau, and Mini Splatling got increased to 190, which Tri-Slosher makes sense. Rapid Blaster Pro Deco, I don't know. Never really used it, so I wouldn't really know. Mini Splatling kind of makes sense. It has a lot of ink ability, and it lasts much longer. Ballpoint is now at 210, which kind of makes sense. I don't know if this one needed to be touched. It is a very strong weapon. Maybe this is the last, the only one I'm like, maybe some other weapons could have seen some attention. So, and that's it for the points, and that's it for the points required. So mostly nerfs. We got 2 buffs, which is nice. The Clash Blaster is might get a bit more attention. Same with the Carbon Roller. These 2 main weapons just, I don't know, they're underwhelming to me personally. So we got bug fixes here. If you want to read those, obviously, go ahead and read those for yourself. I'll link the patch notes down in the description below, but we'll read this last part. Changes to the lobby made it possible to join a room even when a private battle is in progress if there is a spot available. In this case, the new player will be able to participate starting with the next battle. Okay, so now join in progress, that's cool. Their note that they put is this update focuses on making tweaks to multiplayer, pretty obvious. We have improved certain weapons to make them easier to use and modified some less popular weapons to be a bit closer to popular weapons in performance. We hope this will encourage a wider selection of weapon usage. Additionally, we have made adjustments to some sub-weapons to make easier to use in conjunction with main weapons. We have also adjusted some special weapons in addition to similar adjustments mentioned above to encourage a wider selection of usage. We've dialed back the performance of some special weapons that had been modified in the past. Their specifications are now closer to the original weapon specifications. We plan on releasing the next update at the end of the current season. It will be focused primarily on further weapon balances and adding features for the new season. Maybe not expect, because it says specifically weapon balance adjustments, but I think that's what we learned last time whenever we had those map changes I think a season back, I believe at this point, maybe 2 seasons back. So obviously, new content, we'll be getting that here in September. So after August, I think I'll be out of town for about a week in August, so hopefully I don't miss anything while we're gone. Last time there were map changes was when I think Fresh Season 2023 was introduced, and that was when they adjusted Eeltail, Hagglefish, Mincemeat, Hammerhead, all of these maps to kind of better have more cover. Change the terrain in some stages for some modes and reduce the impact of weapons shooting from far away. That was the main focus there. So maybe we'll see some map changes in the future. It's been quite some time, so maybe those guys got some work in, and we'll see. But what do you guys think of the new patch notes here? I think they're pretty decent. I think the shooters, people that think shooter privilege is in this game, even though it does seem like it is, I think some people will be upset about it, but for the most part, honestly, this isn't terrible. I think the other buffs that we got too are pretty nice. I might be using the N-Zap 89 though because of that super chump buff, so the patch will most likely be out either shortly or already out. We'll see. But again, what do you guys think of these patch notes? Make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day.